Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which you have the pleasure of watching the World of Tanks Blitz new event and update 8.4 stream, in which Wargaming gave us some little hints about Halloween event and much more, and that is quite interesting to take a look at. Don't worry guys, we're not going to take a look at the whole stream because otherwise that video would be around 1 hour long, but rather I'm going to just take a look at the most interesting things one by one, discuss about it, and maybe show it to you for those of you that are too lazy to take a look at the whole stream, which is kind of understandable. The first hint Wargaming is introducing is possibly the Halloween event, because as you can see, you have to choose your path to the Titans, both new tanks that are coming for the Halloween event, and you have basically two different ways. The pay-to-win one, where you get Super Activator and you literally get 300 of the currency for the event that will allow you to probably grind quite a lot of different levels, 55 in total, or you get the free-to-play one where things are getting a little bit tricky, because here you have two possibilities. The first, getting a victory that will get you 2 of the currency, or get yourself an ace tanker or a first class in order to get 15 of them. I don't know yet how much you need to get in order for you to complete the whole event, and yeah, I don't think I'll be able to tell you in this video because I will have to take a look at the whole stream because I'm pretty sure Wargaming said it. But let's hope that it should last around 10 days, because that's usually the length of an event, especially in Halloween one. When it comes to the tanks, the two Titans, the first one, as you can see by the look of it, is unlockable at level 8. And the second one, the Titan, the Mighty Reward, will be available when you reach level 35. So same as the regular Battle Pass, but for a little bit of a higher price. Right after, guys, Wargaming is showing the statistics of the Titan MK1, Titan Mark 1, which is the tier 5 of the new Halloween event. And basically, it looks like a Crusader. It has the same gun as a Crusader, the only difference being that this one has less mobility but a better armor due to the spaced armor on both the turret and the hull. And as you can see, we find the traditional gun, the 2-shell one, the autoloader, 90 damage per shot, so 180 burst in total. The rate of fire being really good, 14.7 rounds a minute, which is quite high, to be fair, but same as the Crusader. And I want to remind you that the Crusader is probably one of the greatest tanks to play at tier 5, and Wargaming had to nerf it a couple of times in order to make it balanced. And it's still not necessarily balanced and still a really good tank, so maybe that it will be a good idea for you to keep that tank in your garage rather than selling it, because in case you didn't know, it's a collectible, which implies that if you sell it, you will sell it for gold. And for the number of gold you're going to get, it's probably better for you to keep it. What I like about the streams that Wargaming is doing is that they're highlighting to us how the tank performs. And here you see that even if the tank says that it goes to 35 kilometers per hour in average, it definitely goes to a little bit more. Even if it feels kind of sluggish, I truly don't know why. Maybe because it's competing with ELC AMX. But still, this is a really nice little tank. And just take a look at the reload you have between shells. It's just insane. It's nearly less than 1 second, which makes it a great tank to pop out from a corner, sneak your 2 shots, and go back to a safe position. On top of that, the gun depression, that is awesome, but it's something that is commonly known among the British tanks. They have 10 degrees of gun depression, and this one is no exception. Maybe something I would like to hold off about it. As you can see on the hull, especially at the front, you have the view range, the viewport for the driver. And maybe that on this specific little area where you have this viewport, you are not going to be able to get your 10 degrees of gun depression. I don't know yet. I'll have to wait for the tank to come out in order for me to find out. But if it's the case, it kind of sucks. But I'm pretty sure Wargaming is not going to take that into consideration, and this tank is going to get 10 degrees of gun depression all around, simply because it makes it easier for newbies to play. And Wargaming wants to hold their players because of tank company's threat, but also because Halloween is also known to be an event where you can kind of get some stuff for free, or at least some cool stuff by paying not too much money. And it would be a shame if they gave the players a bad tier fight, because that's not the point. It's a commercial event after all, and if they want to keep their player base, they have to do something about it. Now for the playstyle, it's already simple to see what you have to do with it. No armors whatsoever, even knowing that you have spaced armor, you kind of don't care. What you want to do is obviously using your 10 degrees of gun depression. You pick a boot, you stinker 2 shells, you go back to a safe cover, you don't try to brawl, you don't go first line, and when you can't use your 10 degrees of gun depression by being held down, you just circle the heavies and stuff like that. So in definitive, it's definitely a tank I'm looking forward to play. Not necessarily because of its playstyle, because it's quite close to the Crusader that we already have in the game, but rather because this thing right there will probably allow us to get a lot of credits. Something interesting to notice, because Wargaming is showing us the last stages of the event, and you see that you have this thing that seems to be a background or maybe a legendary camo, and I wish it would be a legendary camo, because otherwise, let's say that I'm kind of gonna be disappointed. But on top of that, you see that you have those mystery boxes in which you have the possibility of getting pretty much every single tank in the game if you're lucky enough. And to be fair, Wargaming giving out only one of them is already a nice gesture, because you still have 10% chances of getting a mystery certificate. And I want to remind you that a mystery certificate is a guaranteed tank. And another thing to notice, guys, is that they're highlighting to us how the new glowing camouflage is working. Personally, I'm not a big fan of them, but props to Wargaming for giving us something that is even more glowing than ever. I remember the first tanks and the first legendary camo that features some glowing parts, and they were kind of bad. But now, at least, we have something juicy. And now, guys, comes the time to talk about the big reward, the Titan HN. And to be fair, I don't know if I'm disappointed. I can't tell you right now because the tank is not available yet and I need to give it a try. But let's say that based on the statistics without any equipments, feels just average, which is a good thing, because at least Wargaming didn't give us something completely broken. But I'm kind of disappointed, because even if I'm not in favor of broken tanks, we already know, and we knew for years, that every time there is an Halloween event, we have something broken. Last year it was the Annihilator, 1 year before it was Lycan, etc., etc. All these tanks were good. But I'm going to give Wargaming the benefit of the doubt, simply because with the new mechanism this tank is equipped with, maybe it's going to be game-changing. Because if, in case you don't know, this tank features some reactive armor. And what does it mean? It means that when you get less than 50% of your hit points, your tank is going to equip by itself some weak parts with 60, not 16, 60, so 60 millimeters of armor on top of what you already have, which implies that you are definitely going to be a fortress, and this is always something nice to take a look at. So for the rest of it, guys, you see that you have 310 damage per shot. You have 6 rounds per minute, so you can probably go up to maybe 7.1 rounds a minute using the right equipments. The penetration is around 180, which kind of sucks, to be fair, but hey, you're a tier 7, so you can always climb on this. And the armor profile, 140 millimeters at the front, but let's say that with the angling, it should probably come around 180, maybe even 200. And for the rotation, something average, same for the speed, 90 kilometers per hour. But at least, yeah, the tank looks really cool. And now Wargaming is going to give it a try, and now we have the answer to what I was talking about previously. The thing you get at the last stage of the event is a Tesla gun, and it's an attachment that you can find on the Titan right there, as you can see. And it looks really cool. Wargaming did an amazing job. It's my first time actually seeing it right now, because I'm reacting kind of to all the things Wargaming is showing right now through my video, and I wanted to be able to see it at the same time as you. So 8.8 seconds of reload for only 310 alpha damage. Is this bad? I'm gonna tell you that already the tank features some crazy armor, as long as you don't show the lower plate, the frontal lower plate, because otherwise, let's say that it's going to be quite difficult for you to bounce anything. On top of that, tier 8 can go through the upper part of your armor easily, And yeah, let's say that it's not the best game ever for our friend right there. And it doesn't show us that the tank is really good. But I truly think that this thing will be a good one on the battlefield as long as you don't mess up and don't try anything completely stupid by, for example, going alone on your side. Here he did, and obviously he died, unfortunately for him, and I'm not going to blame him because that's something I would have been able to do as well. So there we go again. We're just going to take a look at it in the garage without any provision and stuff. So he's only using the tank vanilla, and it's extremely important to notice this. Here, guys, they are playing the tank vanilla. So in definitive, your average reload time is going to drop, your mobility is going to increase, your armor is probably going to be able to get touched when you use the right equipment. So in the end, let's say that you're going to get yourself the same tank here, but with probably 15% more increased on pretty much every single statistics. So in the end, yes, I feel like this thing right there will be a good one, even if on paper it doesn't seem like it. On top of that, just take a look at how cool it is. Just impressive how Wargaming is coming out with those new designs every single year. And pretty much, I feel like this is what Battle Pass tank should look like. Let me explain. When you take a look at the Battle Pass tank, most of them, they are just copy-paste of already existing tank. And yes, Wargaming is changing one or two things, and sometimes it's really well done. For example, the last time we had the Blitz 9000 or even the Churchill, the Dreadnought Churchill. But sometimes it just show how lazy they are. For example, the upcoming tank we have in November in the future Battle Pass, which is the Skoda. But just take a look at this. Just imagine if Wargaming gave us tier 7 collectible every single Battle Pass, or maybe even tier 8, tier 10, if they increase the price. That would be awesome, and especially if they look like that. Of course, the specificity of Halloween tanks is that they feature new mechanisms and original mechanisms that they are the only one to feature. For example, here it's the new armor profile that allows you to get 60mm more of spaced armor every time you get less than 50% hit points. But you also have the Dracula that has instant repair on its tracks, the DLC with the double gun, etc., etc. And I truly wish that they would try things like that a little bit differently, and especially incorporating it into battle passes, not necessarily with new mechanisms, but at least with new tanks that are looking totally different. Because here, even if we know that it's Tiger 1, because you can literally see it, it's modified enough for us to think and to actually implement that it's a new tank and not only a copy-paste. But definitely, let's say that the tank you're seeing right there is not going to suck. It's just that the games our friend just played here are really bad, and it's not necessarily his fault because he was playing against really bad teams. Now, of course, Wargaming is showing us the new Tech Tree tanks, the Polish Tech Tree, but here I'm not going to bother you with it too much, simply because we're going to wait for them to be implemented, and I'm going to review them one by one. For instance, the new update is going to drop this Wednesday, so in 2 days by the time I'm recording this, and probably 1 day only for you when you will be able to see that video. And hopefully, guys, we are going to grind them as soon as possible, and I will do a review for every single one of them, do not worry. They are also highlighting the new consumables that are special to the polish, but we kind of don't care because, as always, and again, I'm going to wait for it to be implemented, and I'm going to do a full review on them, so we're going to pass on this. Maybe one thing you guys want to see is the 60 TP being played, because after all, this is the new tier 10 Tech Tree Polish tank, and it's always nice to have a preview of it in order for you to know if you want or not to grind it. And basically here you see that this thing features some special stuff known as the tungsten shell that our friend is using right there, but unfortunately for him, he kind of missed them. And I truly love what they added on the HUD. They're adding us the length of the special consumable we are using. And I don't know if it's only a thing for the tungsten shell. Maybe they're going to add this for new tanks. And if they do, let's say that I would be happy, because at least it would be better for people to actually understand when to retreat or when to use adrenaline or if they will be able or not to win a 1 versus 1 fight that is based on your adrenaline consumption. This is the word I was looking for. And basically for the 60TP itself, here, once again, he's playing it vanilla, which implies that you don't have access to the best accuracy, the best mobility, etc., etc. But we already know what this tank is going to be like. It's going to be an impressive tank when it comes to the armor profile, featuring a good high alpha damage gun and an average or worse bad mobility. So are you excited for it? Just let me know in the comments, guys, because I would be glad to know it. And do not forget also to check Wargaming streams in case you want to have more information about the tank itself. Now for the last news, and for this I'm probably going to move my camera a little bit right there. Wargaming is announcing again the Mad Games. They are coming back, and we have not only them, we have literally every single one of them. The Mad Games, the Uprising, and the Burning Games. They are all coming one by one after each other, starting with Mad Games. And it's going to be a two days length event, and it's going to be the same for Uprising, etc., etc. And you're going to have a whole week featuring all the events. So if you want to grind the new 60TP line, it's definitely your time, because in Uprising and in Mad Games you can get shit tons of experience while having fun, while playing stock tanks, and this is what you need to take a look at. This is extremely important in case you want to get the 60TP within probably, let's say, 4-5 days at max. So to sum it up, this 8.4 update is something we are all looking forward to, because it brings us new tanks, it brings us Halloween event and a lot of modes. And hopefully through my video right there, you have the possibility of having a breakthrough of what's coming. And in case you like this video, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and I'm going to see you soon for a new one. Bye.